welcome everybody. Welcome to Seahawk Talk, and we're on the Gridiron channel right now.
Oh yeah.
We got special guest, the Gridiron, on with me. What's your first name, by the way? I'm totally sorry.
Jeff. That's all right.
Jeff from the Gridiron.
Yeah.
He's a big time Giants fan, Giants YouTuber. Go find him. The links in the description if you need to, or whenever this is over. But how are you feeling about coming into this game?
Well, the Giants have played 6 halves of football so far this year. I mean, the first 2 halves against the Cowboys, game 1, they didn't show up. The first half against the Cardinals in week 2, they didn't show up. The two halves against the 49ers seemed like it was about 3 years ago when they played them on Thursday night, like 11 days ago. They weren't there. They played basically 1 half of football. That's when they had like their record tying comeback. They were down 21 points, 28-7, and they came back and they wound up winning, and it wound up tying their record. 1949 and 1945, they had 21-point deficits, and they came back to win those games as well. So out of 6 halves of football, they've only played 1. So I mean,
yeah, it's got to be kind of frustrating right now, being a Giants fan, obviously. And we've all been there before with all of our teams, so it's nothing like
especially with the Giants. I'm used to it. Oh yeah,
exactly. I did want to ask, sorry, before we get too into the game, I guess, like, how long you've been a Giants fan? Are you close to the stadium? I guess, like, just how'd you become a Giants fan?
Well, I was week 13 in 1970. I was born in 1964. So for the 60s, I'm sure my father had football games on and I was watching football. I just never remembered. So I just, it was weird. I don't got a great memory, but in week 13, 1970, the Giants were playing in St. Louis against the Cardinals because the Cardinals were playing in St. Louis back then. But anyway, the Giants, they won the game and they were 9-4. And I was at my grandparents' house, and I remember my father, my grandfather, like clapping and jumping up and down. And they said something along the lines like, the Giants win next week to go to the playoffs. And I'm like, so that always stuck with me. So the Giants beat the Cardinals in week 13. And so if they won, of course, they lost 31-3 to the Rams in the following week, so they didn't make the playoffs. But I always remember that because they were making such a big stink of it. Like the Giants won, they were clapping and all that. So that, so ever since 1970, I've been a fan. Well, because I was born in New York. I was born in Queens, and then we moved out there's an island out by New York called Long Island. So we moved out there. So, right now I'm in South Jersey. I'm about 20 minutes from Philadelphia. If I was born here, I'd be a Philadelphia fan, an Eagle fan. Because I like the team, the local team, but I was born in New York. So I like the Giants. I like the Jets too. And I'm down in South Jersey. I'm probably about 2 hours away from MetLife Stadium. So it's a couple hours north to get to the stadium. But I'm in Eagle country here. I'm straight up in Eagle country right here.
Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to anything outside of Washington State, I'm geographically challenged. So I know where New Jersey is, but city-wise, city-wise.
Well, right where the city's at, right? Like Empire State Building and all that, right? Very close to that, there's an island. It's a long island. It's thin and long. It looks like a hot dog. It's called Long Island. So we moved out today, right after I was born. We moved out there, and I was out there until I was 13. My father got a job transfer, and he moved down here to South Jersey, and we've been here ever since 1977.
Well, sweet. I guess, sorry, got to say that what's up to everybody in the comments. We got Bryant Culp saying, smash that like button. Hey, how you doing? No Border Sports, how you doing? And Seahawks Eddie. What's up, Joe and Gridiron? Hey, how are you doing, Eddie? But I guess just kind of what are you expecting? What are you looking for, hoping for? What do you expect is going to happen this weekend? Weekend, Monday. Sorry.
Monday, yeah. Well, I mean, the Giants don't have a very good track record on Monday Night Football. Daniel Jones, I think, is 1-12, like on primetime games Sunday night, whatever, Thursday night, Monday. So he doesn't have a good track record. it's the Giants have been a poor tackling team so far. Their defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, has been asked by the media this week, and they've worked on some tackling drills and all that. And Wink Martindale, their defensive coordinator, said, "Yeah, you want to come to the game. You make sure you start charting stuff, right? Because meaning he's kind of predicting that the tackling woes should be better." Maybe not eliminated, but they've missed like 30 tackles so far in the first 3 games. So they're, and
do you have a lot of
Charbonnet?
Do you have a lot of younger guys on defense? Is that kind of an issue? Because last season we had a bunch of rookies playing, and
yes,
that's
we got
what affected us.
Well, Xavier McKinney is our safety. This is his 4th season, but we got 2 starting cornerbacks. Trey Hawkins, we have to put the 3rd in there. I guess is that like Kenneth Walker the 3rd?
Yeah,
you have to put the 3rd in there. Okay, well, it's Trey Hawkins the 3rd from Old Dominion. He was our 6th round pick. He kind of came out of nowhere. He's done very well in training camp and preseason and all that, and he earned his spot. So, but he's a first year. Then we got Deonte Banks, our first round pick. So he's our other cornerback, obviously young. We got Azeez Ojulari, our edge rusher, who can never seem to stay healthy. He's in his 3rd year. Kayvon Thibodeau, we drafted in the 1st round last year. He's obviously a 1st rounder. Dexter Lawrence, this is his 4th year, 5th year. So we got some young guys. It's a mix. We've got Leonard Williams is like his 8th or 9th season. I mean, he's been around for a while. So we got a little bit of a blend, but we do have some young guys on there as well.
Yeah, that's what I noticed with the Seahawks. The first, I'd say, quarter of the season last year, we had so many young guys on the team, and it's like they didn't practice form tackling enough, like the completely fundamental part of football. You were like, dude, what are you doing? You'd have arm tackles, or you'd have
That's
guys
the problem.
Just going with their shoulder, right? They'd be like, oh, I'm going for the big hit. These are guys in the NFL. You're not going to lay them out every time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like that was kind of the issue there for a while during the first part of the season. And I feel like it on every team, it kind of gets shored up throughout the season as far as wise. So,
yeah, it seems like a lot of your sloppier play is like September, the first few weeks, because the Giants, they only played their starters, I think, in one of the preseason games. Their offensive starters had, I think, 1 drive. They played against the Carolina Panthers. Daniel Jones was like 8 out of 9. They walked down the field, scored a touchdown, and that was it. Their preseason was over with. Now you gotta, I mean, it's especially around here. You get ripped if you do. You get ripped if you don't. If you put your guys in there for an extended period of time, and God forbid one of them gets hurt, the media just goes, "What are you, stupid? This is preseason. The games don't count. Why is he in there? Why is he getting hurt? What is wrong with you?" I mean, but when you don't put them in there long enough and they don't play very well in the beginning, what are you, stupid? Why aren't you playing more in preseason? What's wrong with you? You guys got to work. They got to, I mean, so it's like a no-win situation, really.
Yeah. So, I don't know much about the New York media. Obviously, I've heard they're ruthless. It's a lot different here. We had a couple of guys come from New York and just think, oh man, like this is easy. Just softball question after softball question here. Which I don't like to an extent, but whatever. It's better than us being in their face all the time. Not us, not like I'm a member of the Seahawks media team or anything.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. So, just as far as the Seahawks that he said, glad we're getting Tariq Woolen back and Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, yeah. I know. I'm a little pissed off that you're getting Adams back. Yeah. Hopefully for us Giants, he'll be on the pitch count, because you don't know what kind of football shape he'll be in. But I'm still a little ticked off that he just decided to come back for the Giants. Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much about Adams as far as what we've seen in the past. Well, last year he didn't play at all. He played 15 snaps.
Dude, I don't know how you rip a quad. Holy cow, that sounds painful to me. Wow.
Yeah, and then the season before, he has his coverage issues. So like, I think this could be a big game for Darren Waller if he's playing correct. So I think I'd be focused on. If I was the Giants, I'd be like, get the ball to tight end, because Jamal
But
Adams.
Adams is good at blitzing a quarterback and making stuff happen back there.
Yeah, for sure. It's just the last season we saw him play, you didn't see as much of it. We'll see how they're going to use him. We haven't seen how they're going to use him in this new defense. We run kind of a multiple scheme compared to, the Legion of Boom days where it was 4-3, cover 3 all the time. So,
some good teams back then, man. Some good defense.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, this is the first time all season we will have our full secondary back. Excluding the nickel, I don't think Kobe Bryant's going to be back. But so we'll have our 2 starting corners and our 2 starting safeties. I don't know if Julian Love will be back. I haven't been very impressed with him this year at all anyways.
He missed, what was it, against the Pan? It was I seen him and missed it. It was a tackle. I think the guy ran it for a touchdown. He faked Julian Love out of his jocks. I mean, Julian Love, I think, wound up like diving out of bounds or something like that. And the guy took.
Yeah, he came from
Julian Love. He's not. He's from us, right? You know, so I mean, he's our coach before this called him duct tape because he was very smart and intelligent. You can put him multiple positions. You can put him in safety if you had to, cornerback, nickel, whatever. He can fix a lot of problems. He's not an all-pro player. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's a very intelligent guy. He'll give you his all, this, that, and the other thing. He's very versatile. But as far as being an elite guy, that's not him.
Yeah, we're looking to have him at nickel. I don't think he'll be there this game. I don't know who we're going to start at nickel because the injury report, as far as our secondary all being there, but base defense in the NFL is nickel right now. So I'm kind of concerned on who's playing nickel. Trey Brown's out from his concussion last week, which he was a star in our game against Detroit for sure. But then again, Witherspoon really stepped up the past 2 weeks. I mean, and they just kept trying him. And it's like, dude, this guy's gonna get a pick one of these times. He didn't end up getting a pick, but boy, he looked.
Which game, the Detroit or Carolina game?
Carolina.
Carolina, okay.
They just kept throwing at him, and I think he was thrown at like 17 times. They caught 3 completions against him.
Wow.
Maybe it was 16 times, 4 completions, something like that. But it was just like, why? I was just sitting there going, why did they keep throwing at him? What are they doing?
Yeah.
So,
well, that's good for you. Good for you guys. I mean, if you got yourself a stud cornerback for however long, the foreseeable future, that's great.
Another thing I did want to bring up too is if you look at it, last week Andy Dalton threw for 368 yards against the Seahawks secondary.
Yep.
You got to look at the amount of attempts he had.
He threw like 58 attempts, right?
Exactly. So it's not like he dropped back and just freaking on 30 attempts.
They have a hard time running against your defense because they had to score points. They can't run against your defense.
Yeah, we made them completely one-dimensional, which is exactly what we want to do. They had 44 yards rushing on the day, which I'm assuming you guys will have more. I don't know. Will Saquon be back or doubtful, right?
It's doubtful, yeah. Andrew, as far as I know, unfortunately, our best 2 guys on offense probably won't be there. Andrew Thomas, our left tackle, he's out. And Saquon Barkley, he's doubtful.
Yeah, so Breida's going to be
Breida, Bright. Well, actually, Barkley's in there. We got the killer bees. You got Breida, Brightwell, and Barkley. Mm-hmm. Then we got Eric Gray, who we drafted in the 5th round this year. We have him as well. Then you can't overlook Daniel Jones as well. Now, when we played the 49ers, a week and a half ago, he only had a few carries. I mean, we did not seem to use him at all with his running at all. But you can never, forget about Daniel Jones, as far as, dropping back, at least maybe to pass. If there's a couple alleys open, he might take them, maybe pick up some yards that way. The Giants have also schemed just like some RPOs for him, to get out in space and maybe make some yards running the ball as well there too. So we do have them, but our running game is definitely, if we don't have Saquon number 26 back there, it's not the same.
And that's one thing I was going to ask you, because obviously I don't watch much of the Giants throughout the season. I mainly I watch the Seahawks, and then I kind of watch the national televised games, and then I just pick the closest game on NFL Sunday Ticket at 10 a.m. or I guess 1 p.m. your time.
Yeah.
But I just last season I went to the Giants game, obviously in Seattle, and it seemed like they didn't run Saquon like at all against us. I was just wondering, I guess, what you thought about that at the time.
Seemed like they had a hard time running it. I forgot what his stats were, but in that area, right? I mean, that's the Giants started losing some games. We started off really, really good. Mm-hmm. And then Saquon, I remember he hurt his shoulder somewhere around the 5th, 6th game, somewhere around there. We had some nice wins. We beat the Ravens at home. We beat the Packers in London. We beat the Titans week 1 in Tennessee. But we used Saquon a lot. Then I remember he hurt his shoulder. And then there was a few games in there we had a hard time just trying to get him going. And the Seahawks game was one of them. We had 200 and maybe 40 yards of offense or whatever. It was not much. We didn't have a lot of passing yards. Obviously didn't have much rushing yards. So, it was probably the same thing as it was last year. We just had a hard time running.
Yeah. I just remember that game. I think it was Saquon didn't get a touch till like the 3rd series or something like that, to where I was just confused. Like I was sitting there going like one of those things where you're just sitting there going, well, that's a guy we're supposed to be stopping. Like, yep. What's going on? And yeah, Daniel Jones can run a lot, but when you got that running back,
it was like you guys slowed him down, but it's not like he had like 29 carries either. He only had so many carries. But, you guys did a very good job, of taking team to take him out of the game.
Yeah.
I know Richie James with his 2 punt muffs or fumbles, that didn't help our cause at all. That's for sure.
I do remember that. That was pretty crazy. I think we had a fumble at one point in that game too. I think, and then
that led to our only touchdown. Adoree Jackson ripped the ball out of Lockett's hand at like the 2-yard line.
That's what it was.
And that's the only way we scored a touchdown. And we didn't drive down the field and score a touchdown. We got it at like your 2 or 3, or maybe it might have been the 1.
I do.
We scored a touchdown.
I remember that now. And then, there was one other play that Lockett dropped an easy touchdown that game. I don't know if you remember that too. So
yeah. But he also had a touchdown too, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. After he dropped one, which is good. You always want to drop one before. If you're gonna drop one, at least catch the second one.
Yep.
So
he's one of the guys that scares me. You know what I mean? Because you can kind of maybe keep him under control a little bit, or he's going to get his catches, but then watch out. He can get you deep. Same thing with the beast Metcalf. I mean, he can catch it short and just run through everybody. The way the Giants have been tackling.
Well, and that's what's crazy this year is we haven't got our 1st round pick, Jackson Smith and Jigba, involved a whole lot yet.
Only 9 catches, right?
Yep. He had if you looked it up, probably 9. He had 1 catch for 10 yards last game.
Wow.
Which doesn't – the offense is moving the ball so efficiently right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, you had like 1 bad half if I'm looking at it like that. You had the second half against the Rams. You guys think you got shut out.
It was terrible.
But other than that, you guys have been putting up points like I don't want to say at will, but you guys have been putting up some points.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? We capitalized the second half of the last game. The first half of the last game, we scored 5 field goals. And if you're driving down the field enough to score 5 field goals,
oh yeah. Yep.
Better start punching them in, because 5 field goals.
It doesn't matter who you're playing in the NFL nowadays. You start kicking field goals. You kick 7 field goals, you probably lost the game.
But so we'd obviously like to see Jackson Smith and Jigba get a little bit more, but they've been running with 2 and 3 tight end sets a lot because both of our starting tackles have been out the last 2 weeks. And they'll be out this week too. So I think that's what's limiting Jackson Smith and Jigba.
You can't get catches if you're not on the field.
Yeah, and he's a slot guy. That's what he is. He's a slot guy. So I think after the bye week next week is really when we're going to see a lot more of Smith and Jigba.
Oh, that's going to work out good for you then.
Yeah, so we've been hampered with injuries like crazy. I'm surprised that we're 2-1. Like I'd really expect us to be 1-2 with, missing both of our tackles. That is a huge deal. I mean, you see it. Absolutely. You're missing one tackle right now, and you're like, man, this sucks. So,
yep, absolutely.
I guess they said Jason Peters is going to play this week, and he's 41 years old. I'd almost rather have.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer, but that guy's, I mean, I don't know how many snaps he can give. He seems like he always gets injured too.
Yeah, not even hurt. You're 41. You're definitely loves to step. So.
Oh yeah, that too. He's a huge guy, but I remember him with the Eagles. Yeah, so I mean, he's been around. Seems like forever.
But so yeah, we'll see. We obviously have a lot of injuries still, and I usually hate early bye weeks. I like them right in the middle of the season, or even towards the end, really. But the fact that it's so early right now and we have so many injuries, I think is actually good for us.
Yeah. Well, this is my third season going. I started my YouTube channels in 2021. So I did the 2021 season, the 2022 season, and so far the 2023 season. So, and every, I always try to preview all the games and all that. And I think, I don't got the greatest memory in the world, but I think this is the first time in these 2.5 seasons or whatever it's been that looking at the Giants injury report and comparing it with the other team is the first time I think that the other team actually had more injuries than the Giants. Every game, the Giants list is like this long and the other team might have like 3 players injured. This is the exact opposite. I mean, I seen the was it Wednesday? You had I think you had 4 cornerbacks and 3 safeties were listed. That didn't mean they were out, but they were listed with an injury or something. I'm like, oh my God, their whole secondaries.
Man, you should have seen. You should have seen last week. Last week was even worse. But this week is pretty bad too. But I think they'll be able to overcome it. I really do. I have a lot of faith going into this game just with our offense. And, we're starting to pressure the quarterback a little bit. You finally see it. Because the first game we did
good
not.
For you. Good. Well, no, I mean, that's really, because Daniel Jones has been running for, I forgot, he's been under pressure like 46 or 47% of his snaps. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's like we got it's like rotating, revolving door. As soon as he snaps the ball, he's in the, turnstiles. There's like 2 or 3 guys in the backfield. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. He hasn't done awesome, but our offensive line has just been horrible.
I just couldn't believe. So last week going into the game, we had 2 backup tackles in and a backup left guard. Okay.
Wow.
Now, the starting right guard went out at one point in the game. And
oh, yeah, that's right. You had 4 backups in there at one point.
Exactly. And you know what? The Panthers defensive line, they're not all world. They're not all pro. But I'd say they're average. They really are. They got Brian Burns and a couple other guys, of course. They're average. I don't know all their names. But if you just look at their numbers, I think they're pretty average. And we did a good job. They did a good job. And they played great with the tight ends chipping. That's going to be a big thing to watch this weekend. Is the tight ends will chip big on the first half. I've noticed the last 2 games with the backup tackles in. And then in the second half, once the tackles get a little bit more comfortable in the game, that's when they'll start putting the tight ends out on just go routes instead of, sitting back for a second. So that's one thing I'd look at as a Giants fan is in the first half. I don't think you'll see as many guys out on routes as you will in the second half.
Okay. Well, we've had a hard time getting pressure. We've only had 2 sacks so far in 3 games. I mean, and then both those sacks came, whatever it was, a week and a half ago against the 49ers. The first 2 weeks we've had no sacks. I mean, we have no turnovers on defense. We have no interceptions, no forced fumble, no fumble recoveries, and only 2 sacks. I mean, and we don't tackle.
No, I get it. Trust me, I've been there before. So I totally get how frustrating it is. But when you finally get pressure to the quarterback, and that's what the Seahawks have finally been doing a little bit, it forces the quarterback to make bad decisions. And
absolutely.
That's our thing. So like Jared Goff had that pick six, the Detroit game. We finally got pressure to him. Like that drive, that's when we started getting pressure to him, and the defense capitalizes. And, just so on and so forth. That's I think will be the key to this game is our backup offensive linemen and how well they play, and then the defensive line. So
yeah, well, this is going to be the Giants' fourth different offensive lines that they're going to have in 4 different games. Because Andrew Thomas, our tackle, is not going to be there. So we're going to have Joshua Zudu at left tackle. Ben Bredesen is going to be the left guard. Now, he missed the past couple games because he got a concussion in week 1 against the Cowboys. So he missed the past couple weeks, but he'll be back in there. Then we have John Michael Schmitz. We have Marcus McKeithen and Evan Neal. So Evan Neal is his second season. Marcus McKeithen, the right guard, this is his second season. John Michael Schmitz is his first season. Ben Bredesen, I think this might be his third or fourth season. But then we have Joshua Zudu at the left tackle is his second season. So we got a bunch of young guys there, and there's no continuity there. Some of the guys have played together. Oh, it is. But there's 5 guys themselves have never played together during a regular season game.
Yeah, that's a huge thing is continuity. We dealt with that for a long time, and obviously we're dealing with it this year. Just somehow knock on wood too, because these guys have been holding up like complete. Well,
I don't know how much of it is coaching, because I'm not overly thrilled with our coach. I mean, because see, you got backups in there, and you guys are still putting up points, and you're still being functional. We got starters and a couple backups, and we came in scoring points. Then again, we are going against the 49ers, and we did go up against the Cowboys. They got some good defenses, but
for sure.
Sometimes it's like we got backups in there. It's like we sometimes we just can't seem to do much of anything. I'm kind of wondering how much of that is coaching too.
Yeah. I don't. I couldn't tell you. I'm not there, obviously, but I totally understand what you're saying. But the 49ers and Cowboys, they're both great teams. So
their fronts are unbelievable.
And they still had Trayvon Diggs. As much as, I'm friends with a lot of 49ers fans here on YouTube. That's who I go on live with a lot. But I hate the 49ers, and I do hate the Cowboys. But I will admit they're both very talented football teams. So.
They did good today. The Eagles got lucky. I can't stand the Eagles, but the Cowboys they blew up. They blew up the Patriots. They destroyed them.
Which I thought was going to be closer. I thought Belichick was going to keep him really in check.
Yeah, well, I'm not very impressed with Mac Daddy Jones, the quarterback there. I'm not very, overly impressed with him. I think his time there might be coming to an end. I thought I didn't think it was going to be that bad of a blowout, to be truthful with you. But then again, I guess the Cowboys were also kind of embarrassed that they lost to the Cardinals the week before.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
But what do you want to see the team improve on? I guess is it pass rush, pass protection?
Well, we have Azeez Ojulari is coming back now. He always seems to have some type of soft tissue injury. Last season, he strained his calf and he missed some time. One of the games later in the year, we played with Minnesota, and I think Kirk Cousins had the ball and Azeez tackled him, but Kirk Cousins accidentally. It was nothing. But I think he kneed him in his thigh or something like that, and he had a thigh bruise, and I think he might have missed the game or something. He's always getting soft tissue injuries. Now this year he has a hamstring issue, so he's missed the past couple of weeks with a hamstring. The guy's our best edge rusher, can't keep him on the field. So apparently, hopefully, he'll be coming back this week. Now, can he stay healthy? Who knows? Because I'm dying to see our pass rush get better, because it's been pretty non-existent. I like Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari, when they're on the field and healthy, that gives us a good chance to get some pressure at the quarterback. Dexter Lawrence in the middle is a very good defensive tackle. He can get pressure up the middle. So I'm trying to see that. There's a ton of things. I'm tackling better.
Yeah.
Get a turnover. We don't see that. We don't anything. We don't have a dog on our defense. We don't have somebody that when things are going bad, they're on the sideline getting in guys' faces and stuff, taking his helmet off, or he's in the middle of the huddle. What are you doing? We don't have that. We have a bunch of friendly guys. We don't have somebody that can rally the troops up and just start getting pissed off and getting in guys' faces and challenging them. We don't have that.
And I thought Leonard Williams would be that guy, if I'm not. But just from the outside looking in, you don't think so? No.
Well, Dexter Lawrence, they're all inside. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. They don't want to give up points. They're sick and tired of giving up yards. They want sacks. They want all this stuff. But there's nobody. You don't ever see that on the sideline. Nobody takes charge. We have quote unquote leaders, but I don't see anybody. I don't see a dog, an alpha male out there getting in guys' faces. What the are we doing? You know what I mean? We got like a lot of some guys don't seem like they want to tackle, or they give an arm tackle and the guy breaks through the arm tackle. They don't bring the shoulder in. We don't, one guy wrap up and 2 or 3 other guys come in there, get a shot on the guy. We don't see none of that. It's like, it's kind of like flag football. So I'd like to see a little more defense, from the Giants.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one thing compared to last year. The Seahawks have been a lot better. I think the leadership of Bobby Wagner being
back. Oh, you got him back. Oh, yeah. Who the heck wouldn't want that guy? Holy cow.
Yeah, and he just went on a little hiatus with us, I guess. It sucks.
Well, 1 year, right?
Yep, 1 year. So, but yeah, so the Wednesday after the Rams game, I guess he had a big just players only meeting with the team about.
We don't have that.
Exactly. So that was one thing that was missing last year, and it means a lot when you have, because Jamal was out last year too, and he's a big vocal guy, as dumb as he looks most of the time being that guy. We just didn't have it. We had Quandre Diggs, who's awesome. He's great, but we just didn't have Jamal. But Steve-O said Giants have 11 days of rest. Yeah, that is true.
Well, that's huge for us. As I said, we only have 2 guys listed on the injury from what I saw. We'll have some guys who are inactive because we got 53 on the roster. You can only dress 46, so we'll have some guys inactive. But as far as what I'm seeing on the injury list, we're down to just 2 guys, and we've had 11 days to prepare, 11 days to rest. It can be good or bad, because when you get creamed like what they did against the 49ers, you want to get back on the field and fix that. Now we got 11 days of just thinking about how badly we stink. That could psychologically, affect you as well too. So the rest could be good and bad.
Well, and I've always said too, I'd rather play a team coming off a win than a loss. So I think this game is going to be closer than some people think. A lot of people are just chalking up the Seahawks are going to win. And you're like, it's going to be a close game no matter what. The Seahawks play up or down.
It's tough.
The Seahawks play up or down to any opponent they've had. Knock on wood, we're 5-0 at MetLife Stadium.
Now, is that against the Giants, or is that the Giants and the Jets?
Giants and Jets and Super Bowl.
Okay. Wow. You've only been there 5 times?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because I knew the one was the Super Bowl. That was probably that Super Bowl, and when the Giants lost in 2000, 34-7 to the Ravens. Those are probably the worst 2 Super Bowls I can remember of all time, as far as just being blowouts.
It was great for me.
How good the Ravens were that year and how good the Seahawks were that year. And there was just like the cream of the crop.
Well, one thing people don't talk about too is I get the 2000 Ravens and 85 Bears were great defenses, but they played Kerry Collins. The Ravens played Kerry Collins in the Super Bowl, and the 85 Bears played the Patriots, who aren't the Patriots that people know today. The Seahawks played literally the number 1 scoring offense of all time and held them to 8.
Yeah. Yep. Peyton Manning. Oh yeah.
That's a big deal to me. When people always leave the 2013 Seahawks out of the top 2 greatest defenses of all time, it's like, oh, okay, we'll back it up. They did it against literally the all-time score, the all-time best scoring offense of all time held him to 8 points in the Super Bowl. I wish we would have held him to nothing, and then we may have had a case.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the Giants scored 7, but that was on a kickoff return. And the Patriots in 85 scored 10 points. They scored the first 3 points of the game. And then I think I don't know if they scored the last touchdown of the game, but they scored the first 3 points. Walter Payton fumbled the ball, I think, on the Bears' first drive. I think the Patriots recovered it, and they kicked the field goal. So they were up 3-0. So it's like, hey, in 85, hey, we might have a good Super Bowl here. But it was all downhill after that. Oh, my God. It was horrible.
Yeah, and then obviously we lost the next one, which sucked, but whatever.
Yeah.
Can't change time.
That's just – sometimes you just outcoach yourself. You got a guy in the backfield they can't stop. They might stop him he might only get a yard or two, but you only needed a yard or two. And what was it, first down, second down? What was it?
So the problem was second down, we only had one timeout left. So obviously you see what they're doing, right? You throw the ball, it's incomplete. You can run it twice after that, but you can't – we're down by 4. You can't run it, basically, because you only got one timeout. So
yeah,
I get it. It was 9 years ago now. We just had our 10-year anniversary of the Super Bowl winning team last weekend. So, but yeah, man. I'm excited for this game. I'm excited to see what Jamal Adams can do. If he does anything, I'm not a Jamal Adams guy after what we gave up to get him.
Was it 2 first-rounders?
Yeah. So there's been 3 defensive players traded for 2 first-round picks in the history of football. Jalen Ramsey, Khalil Mack, Jamal Adams. Now, I'd much rather have those 2 other guys than the guy that we got, but we'll see. Let's see if he makes a difference.
Yeah.
We'll see.
See if he can stay healthy, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and when you're on the field, so we've been spoiled with great defense for a long time. Great linebackers and really good secondary play for a long time. So when you get a guy that everybody expected him to be the next Cam Chancellor coming in, right? So in the past, we have Kenny Easley, Eugene Robinson, and then you got Cam, Earl, Deion Grant, Ken Hamlin, those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have this guy coming in, and this guy's got all the hype, right? So that puts a lot of pressure on that guy coming from a team that has historically had great safeties.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to see a guy run 15 yards down the field, you make a big hit, and then you get up like you're celebrating because you made a big hit. We want to see him fumble. We want to see you knock that ball out. If it's a pass over the middle, we want to see him not complete the pass. So it's just, he's a little much for me.
So. Yeah. Well, that's understandable.
I did want to ask you though, is Adoree Jackson still on the Giants?
Oh yeah. Yep. Well, what we have, the way it's been working a lot of times is our 2 rookie cornerbacks are the outside cornerbacks, and Adoree Jackson's been in the slot. Now the problem is if we taken Deonte Banks, our first rounder this season, cornerback from Maryland. He's one of our outside cornerbacks. He started all 3 games, but he's only finished 1 game. The first week against the Cowboys, I think it was the second quarter. I think it was. He got like cramps. So he started the game. I think didn't do too bad. And he give up only maybe 1 reception or something. It wasn't too bad at all. But then he had cramps and he missed the rest of the game. The second week against the Cardinals, he played the whole game. Week 3 against the 49ers, he started the game. Then he injured his arm. He came out. He didn't start. He didn't finish the game. So supposedly he'll be back this week. Let's see if he can play the whole game. Now, if he can play the whole game, we'll have Trey Hawkins III, our rookie cornerback on the outside. Deonte Banks will be the other outside cornerback, and Adoree Jackson will be in the slot. Now, when Deonte Banks has been hurt those 2 weeks, Adoree Jackson then slides to the outside, and we bring in somebody else, like Darnay Holmes. Well, we have a couple other guys who can play in the slot. But Adoree Jackson's still on the team. This is his last season under contract. So we're kind of waiting. We don't know, do they want to re-sign him next year for maybe another, I think he's like $19 or $20 million this season. So, he's still kind of young. So we don't know if we're going to re-sign him or not and keep him, or we're going to have to look maybe in the draft to replace him. But he's still on the team. He's our most veteran guy in the secondary.
No, I got you. That's just why, because you were talking about the two corners earlier, and you didn't mention him playing nickel. I was like, man, what?
Oh yeah.
I thought he kind of stood out last year when we played him. If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong, but I thought he was the guy who knocked it out when Lockett fumbled.
Yeah, he's the one that pulled the ball out. That was like our best play of the whole game.
Yeah, for sure. That was a horrid game. If you're a Giants fan, that was right before.
No offense.
Not Thanksgiving.
That's the only way we scored a touchdown. I mean, we had the ball like that was your 1 or 2 yard line.
Yeah, it was.
That was it.
It was down there, and I was just like, God dang it. Lockett never fumbles either. That's a knock on wood. So, yeah. But, I'm excited for Monday. It's gonna be a fun game for sure.
Well, I mean, the Giants are starting to get into the period of, I mean, there are no must-win games if you're not looking to make the playoffs. If you're looking to make the playoffs, if the Giants lose here, they're 1-3. Then they have to play Miami on the road, and they have to play Buffalo, another Monday night game on the road. So we got another 2 hard. So the Giants could be looking at 1-5 quite easily. So if you're 1-5 and you want to make the playoffs, that means they're going to have to go like 6 games. They got 11. They have to go like 9-2 in their final 11 games, and that's not happening.
Yeah.
So they can probably almost kiss the playoffs goodbye.
Yeah, so as a Giants fan, I'm looking at the Seahawks one as you got to win this because look at the schedule of Dolphins, Bills. I mean, you watched them today, not so much the Dolphins, but the Dolphins last week, and then the Bills this week and last week.
Josh Allen. Oh yeah, I think it was 4 touchdowns and 3 incompletions. I think he had all game.
Oh really? Yeah. I didn't watch that. I was busy. I watched the first half of the Broncos game, trying to watch them lose. They're down 28-7. I hate Russell Wilson, so I just want to let you know that I like to watch him and Sean Payton suffer. I don't like Sean Payton either.
I don't like Sean. Well, I like Sean Payton a little bit because he was the Giants offensive coordinator in 2000 when we went to the Super Bowl. So he was a New York Giant guy. Yeah. So I like a little bit, not too much.
I don't at all. I don't like him one bit.
I hated him when he was in with New Orleans and Drew Brees. I hate him because we had a hard time beating Drew Brees. Drew Brees always put up so many points against the Giants. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. Like I said, we're 5-0 at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
So let's see if that can continue. And then everybody's freaked out about your guys' turf. I'm not freaked out. God, I better not. I keep saying stuff, and I'm like, why am I saying this the day before the game?
Well, it's a new turf. They put in new turf. I don't know what it was called last year and I forgot what it's called this year, but it's brand new turf. Now they're supposed to, and the World Cup comes around in 2026, that MetLife Stadium is going to be hosting some games. And with the World Cup, you got to play on grass. So they're going to be putting grass in there in 2026. What I don't know, because the World Cup will be in the summertime, I don't know if they're going to be putting grass in there in the summer, and when fall rolls around for football, they're going to rip it out and keep the turf in there. That I'm not sure.
So that's another thing in Seattle. 2026, we're hosting World Cup games too. So
very nice.
I have no idea if they're going to go back. I hope they go back to turf. I like turf. I'm a turf guy. The Seahawks have played on turf since they've been around my whole life.
Oh yeah, 1976. Oh yeah.
Yep. And I've been going to Seahawks games since 2002 when I was 5. So I've only watched games on turf. Actually, my first professional football game was this Wednesday this Thursday in Green Bay, watching a game played on grass, not on turf. So
wow.
Husky Stadium.
But it goes to show you. I mean, it's like they're in Green Bay, and they can keep grass there. I mean, the Giants had grass. It was at the old Giants Stadium before, and they knocked that down and put it in MetLife Stadium. But from 2000 to 2002, the Giants had grass. The Giants would play there one week, the Jets would play there the next week, then the Giants and the Jets. So there was never any rest for whatever, I guess for the sod or whatever, and they always had a hard time keeping it. I remember a lot of times they would run around on the field and the guy would plant his foot and make a break or something. A big divot would come flying off and stuff like that. So that they had a hard time keeping the grass there. So after like 3 seasons, they pulled the grass out and they put turf back in there. But it's been pretty much a house of horrors, for quite some time there. So far, the Giants haven't suffered any, obviously, knock on wood, any season-long ending injuries. Aaron Rodgers did. He played 4 plays, for the Jets. That was the Monday night game, and his season's over with. You don't know, was it turf or was it grass or that you don't know. It wasn't. But,
so I look at it more of like if it's a knee injury, I kind of take it into consideration. A non-contact injury, but his foot was planted in the ground. That just
it was.
And J.K. Dobbins, he tore his Achilles for the Ravens that same day on natural grass, and then the next day the NFLPA writes the NFL they want all grass. But if I was the NFL, I'd go right back and say, well, didn't J.K. Dobbins also tear his Achilles on grass this weekend? I mean, I don't think
horrible. Yeah.
I'm not a grass guy just because I'm from the Pacific Northwest. Like I live 30 minutes south of Seattle. I know it rains here a lot, and the grass sucks in the fall.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
I'm not a grass guy. But as I was talking, I just looked up. Yeah, the Seahawks are 5-0 at MetLife, including 1 Super Bowl win and 3 against the Giants, 1 against the Jets.
Against the Jets? Okay. Well, I just find it hard that you guys only played there 4 times, including the Giants and the Jets, because I knew about the Super Bowl, but you only played 4. Because I think MetLife Stadium, was started in 2010, so I just have a hard time that you only played there 4 times, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, it's a lot easier. Like if the Seahawks are first place in their division, the Giants are first place, and then we play a lot, and then it's every 4 years we play the NFC East, 3 or 4 years. It hasn't
3
been,
years.
Yeah. So
the AFC it's every 4 years. But in the NFC it's every 3 years because we got the NFC East, but then there's the West, the South, and the North. There's only 3 other divisions that we play. So every 3 years,
Yeah. So that's I like it there just because it brings back the memory of the Super Bowl. Obviously, I've never been there, but I like playing in New York. It reminds me of like back in the day when. Brandon Browner had that huge pick 6 against you guys. That was a pretty close game. I don't know if you remember that. That was 2011. It was 2011. It's when Victor Cruz was a big deal for you guys.
Oh yeah. Well, his first season was in 2010. That was kind of like, but he only played a few games. I think then he got injured. 2011 was his breakout season. He had a huge season then that year. Oh yeah. We had 3 good guys. We had Mario Manningham, Hakeem Nicks, and Victor Cruz. Those are our 3 wide receivers we had.
Yeah, and you guys beat the Patriots for America that year, so that was cool.
Second time. Yep. Oh yeah, that was 2 good Super Bowls.
I did want to ask you something. So I was watching your live stream the other day, and you said that I wanted you to kind of repeat it because I just found it honestly unbelievable. You were looking on Pro Football Focus, and I think you said since 2011, the pass protection for the Giants has been like 31st or something.
Oh yeah, no. Since you go back to I think it was 2011. I think 2010. I think we were in the top 13. So since 2011 to this, including this season too, because we're nowhere near. We're the only team since 2011 to not finish, according to Pro Football Focus. That's all I'm going by.
Yeah.
Pro Football, to finish in the top 13 as far as pass blocking. I forgot what we are this year, but we're 31 this year. I don't know because the Steelers were 32. We're number 31. Now I don't know what the Steelers did today or whatever like that, but we're the only team in the NFL since 2011. Including this season, who have not finished in the top 13 as far as pass blocking grade, according to Pro Football Focus. And I don't discount that at all. Our pass blocking has been just horrible.
And
It's every year it's like, we need our offensive line. We need to get our offensive line. And we got Andrew Thomas' first rounder, John Michael Smith, second rounder, Evan Neal's his first rounder, is Joshua Zuda's the third rounder. I mean, we got young, drafted guys, early draft picks and all that. We're not making it happen.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we get out of here, I kind of wanted to ask you final score predictions. Anything you're looking for, like as far as stats wise, with that Hyatt guy? I heard his stat line is crazy. At least going into last week, he had like four.
He has 2 catches for like
88 yards.
88 or 89 yards. Yes, they averaging like 44 and a half yards of reception.
Yes.
But I mean, like last week they didn't throw to him at all because I mean, there's the thing. It's like we can't get Daniel Jones with 5 blockers. Daniel Jones to get the ball, have him in the pocket like this, and everybody runs their routes and all of that. Daniel Jones just throws it deep. Daniel Jones gets the ball. As he's getting the ball, there's 13 other players on top of him. He's got to like duck and kind of like just, run for his life or throw. So with Hyatt, want him to go deep. Daniel Jones can't stand in the pocket for more than 2 seconds without getting his head ripped off. So therefore, Jalen Hyatt's routes are kind of null and void because he can't get down the field. So it's either you max protect, then Daniel Jones can stand in the pocket. But then there's like 7 or 8 defenders back there to cover 2 wide receivers. So the wide receivers aren't very effective.
Yeah.
Or you put 4 or 5 guys in the route, but then Daniel Jones got to get the ball and just throw it because he's going to get sacked.
Yeah, all comes back to the line. It all comes back to the line. Everything.
Yeah, it's horrible. I'd like to see Jalen Hyatt get involved. The one thing that really helped us was in week 2 against the Cardinals. We were down at half. I think it was 20-0, and then it was 28-7 at one point. But the first play of the second half for the Giants, Daniel Jones drops back the pass. Jalen Hyatt runs deep. We had protection. Daniel Jones throws it. Jalen Hyatt catches it. I forgot, it was a 59-yard reception or something like that. Got us down around the 20-yard line or whatever it was. Right after that, we went in and we scored a touchdown, and then things started rolling from there. So Jalen Hyatt got us going in that the one half that we played football all year. Jalen Hyatt, that one catch. He had 2 catches in that half. The 2 catches for like 89 yards. He got us going. So I would love to see if we can somehow get enough protection to get him a couple, at least throw it deep. Because then when he's on the field, the defense is thinking, okay, they might go deep. Because Hyatt's there he is. They might go, so we might have to back up a little bit. At least throw it deep, because if everything is just dink and dunk, after a while, the defense just starts creeping up to the line of scrimmage, right? So you complete a 3-yard pass, but then you have 19 defenders standing around them ready to make the tackle because they're all moving up, because they don't think you're going deep.
Yeah. No, I get you. And that's one thing that should be to your advantage this weekend is throwing deep, because we should be in a lot of cover 1, cover 3 type defenses with, a single high safety. Because Jamal Adams is back, it'd scare me a lot more if we were running cover 2 with Jamal Adams back there. So I'd be looking for that on the outside.
But the problem with him is that if you have him deep, that could be a liability. But if you have him rushing, that's our problem, because we have a hard time keeping the pocket clean. You got a good safety that knows how to get home. That's kudos to you guys, because we have a hard time.
We'll see. It's been a year and a half since we've seen him play football. So who knows what we're gonna see? He could come out looking like a freaking all-star, or he could come out looking like a turd. So let's see. But I guess, sorry to keep you on here for so long, but what's your final score prediction?
Well, all I have to go by is what I see, as far as the first 3 games. I can't say, I don't have a crystal ball. This is the week the Giants were going to start tackling. This is the week we're going to get 5 sacks. I got my crystal ball. We're going to get 3 turnovers this week. All I have is the evidence that I have. We have 2 sacks. We have no turnovers. We get no pressure. We have a hard time tackling. You guys put up a bunch of points. You have very good offensive weapons. Your running backs, Charbonnet and Walker, very good. Geno Smith's doing a very good job at distributing the ball. 69% pass completion, I think it is. I mean, just he's almost taken what he did from last year. So all I got, that's all the evidence I got. So I got you guys winning like 28-20. I mean, if we can lose, I don't want to take losing being good, but if we can lose by like a score, I'd be almost happy with that. You're a good team, of course I want us to win, but all I have is the evidence that I have to see, and the evidence that I got from the New York Giants so far is not very promising.
No.
So like 28-20. I don't see us shutting you guys down. Hopefully we'll put some points up. But I said maybe, if we lose by a score,
I'm thinking 31-21. That's my thing. A 10-point game. And I'm hoping for that. But realistically, I could see this being like a 23-21 type game. Something like that. I could see, it's a long travel, which historically we play really good since Pete's come in here. We're like 15-1 in our last East Coast games. So
wow.
Well, I know that's for a fact at the 10 a.m. slot. I couldn't tell you about prime time, but historically on prime time games, we're a very good team as well. So
wow. That's
it's
good.
just,
and the Giants aren't. We're the exact opposite.
It's just so. Let's see how this turns out. Before we get out of here, I just want you to let everybody in the chat know where to find you. And I guess what your schedule's like. What do you do?
Well, sure. I usually try to go live every night at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I guess it'd be 7:30 your time. It's called the Gridiron. It's got a Giants football helmet. It's an old football helmet on there. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. And I said I try to go live probably like 6 days a week, like around 7:30 your time, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I go live. So it's kind of like what's going on here. If somebody, has a question or whatever, I can chat away with them, or they put in a question and I can talk to them or whatever. So I try to go live that way. If somebody wants to talk football or whatever, I'm there to talk football with them. So I don't like record my stuff and throw it up there. I try to go live, almost every night. So it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron.
Okay. Yeah, and also, guys, his link is in the description too. So make sure you go ahead and give him a subscribe and get in his chat sometime. He's really good. I just found him one night. I was on the computer back here. It was before I even started my podcast. I just made my office into kind of a little podcast area, and I was cool. I just typed in NFL and then looked up live because I think it's cool that now you can actually comment with people that are making videos and they can say, and it's really awesome. So, but yeah, thanks again for coming on the show. We really do appreciate it. Not just me, but everybody in the chat. So thank you so much.
If we play in the playoffs or if we play again next year, I'll be here.
Yeah, for sure, man.
More than happy to join the show again.
Well, thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right. You too.